Hello everybody, this is Leo from Loco Circus and today we are crafting flower sticks. So what is a flower stick? This is a flower stick. It is just a stick, honest. So we have two control sticks and then we have our flower stick. You can tell the flower stick because of these lovely petals on the end, and the bigger the petal, the slower it will move. You can make them out of different types of materials. I made ones out of fabric in the past. These ones are made out of rubber. So let's look at the ingredients that we need to make our flower stick. Okay, so we have some LX tape, which we can use for decoration. We have some hockey grip tape, which is pretty much the same as LX tape, just a higher grade and quality. And then we also have the fabric grip tape, which you can use. Gives you a little bit of grip, but nowhere near as neoprene tape, which is what I've traditionally used and a lot of people use, is this kind of rubber tape. But I find this particular version a little bit flimsy. It breaks too easily and it doesn't hold up. Certainly if you spend a whole year spinning or juggling, it won't hold it. This stuff I found most recently, this is the self-fusing silicone repair tape. It's used for plumbing supplies and other things like that. This pretty much will turn your stick into a shop bought one. It's silicone, it grips to it, it is exactly the same stuff, and you can see it's really, really grippy, which is great for what you want it for. I also have some double-sided tape, which is useful. You don't actually need it, but it is always good to have it, and you'll see why later on. So these are the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need something to make a mark with. I've got here a silver Sharpie. I've got my ruler for nice straight lines. I have a pair of scissors for cutting everything out. I prefer to use a scalpel and a cutting board for cleaner edges, but if you're not comfortable with running them, or you don't have one of them, or if you're too young, then a pair of scissors will be perfectly fine. Make sure that when you're cutting that you get permission and supervision from an adult first. And of course we're going to need some material to make our petals. This is a bit of pleather that I got off an old sofa that someone was throwing away. And I've made these two oblongs. They're 15 inches by 5 inches. Again, these are only rough measurements. You can experiment if you want a slightly heavier weight. You can make them a bit longer or a bit fatter. If you want a bigger head, you can change the size of the actual petals themselves. So here's some that I've already cut out, as you can see. And I've made each section, this is about 1.5 inches to attach to the actual stick. And then of course you have your petals that will spray out when you wrap it around. And last but not least, we have an actual stick, because every flower stick needs a stick. So now we've got our stick for our flower stick, and we've got some tape. I'm going to make a red core. So first things first, I'm going to cap the ends. So we take a little bit of tape and we put it right on the end like this and pull it down either way like so. So that way we've got a nice red cap right in the end, and I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So the ends of the staff, at the end of the flower stick, will be nice and colourful. Okay, so now we've capped the ends. We're going to put the red all the way down. I'm going to start at this side and go wrap right around the top twice. Once and twice, and then after that I'm going to continue down at roughly about a 45-degree angle, just catching the previous loop of tape exactly the same way we did the staff. Okay, now we're getting past the halfway point. We're going to need to swap hands. And the most important thing is trying to keep that angle, because what you don't want is any bubbles or knots or ruckles in it that will throw off the shape. And then at the other end we're going to wrap around twice, the same way we did at the first one. Okay, so that's our red core. Next we have to decide on what colour we want, or what effect we want to put on it. I'm going to make this one exactly the same as I made my own flower stick. So I'm going to have a red core and then a white band going in that direction, and then I'm going to have a black band going in the opposing direction. So we'll start with the black. I'm going to use the fabric tape for this and put it on at a 45-degree angle. And this time, instead of looping it back to itself, in fact, I'm not going to put it at a 45, I'm going to put it at a slightly more drastic angle, about a 75, and then roll that down, trying to keep that shape there, that triangle, as we rotate. All the way to the end, and then we'll just cut it at the end. The nice thing about this tape is you can tear it with your fingers, but some tapes you might need a pair of scissors with. So there we have our red core with our black spiral going over the top. And then I'm going to use this white, which is so we had black fabric with the LX core, and then we're going to use the hockey tape as the final version, going in the opposite direction to the black. So again, I'm going to start this side, so I'm going to go in the opposing version of the black and spiral down as we go. Okay, and now we have our beautifully decorated twizzle stick. So the next things we're going to do is the grip, because at the moment this has very little to no grip, which is where our silicone tape comes in. I'm going to start at this end, again all the way round once, just to seal the end. I'm going to move down So now we have our stick. It's got lovely colours, it has some grip, and in some ways this will be ready to go as a control stick, just like our shop bought ones. You know, this will behave the same way. It's a little bit longer. But to turn it into an actual flower stick and to balance it, we're going to need our petals. Now this is where my little bit of sticky back comes in handy. Again, you don't need to use this, but it just helps. And we're going to start right at the end, making sure that the tip of the stick is in line with your line here. And then we just roll it up, keep making sure that it's nice and tight. And then once you get to that section, we bring in our tape, and we're going to do a red core like we did with the center. And right up to where the petals start. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little black just to create an extra little band of colour. And we've already done the other side, so now there we have our flower stick. So here we have some alternatives. This is a shop bought one. These are from Juggling Dream. These are the ones that we use in our circus workshop. So whenever we go out to a party or to a festival or something like that, these are the ones. They're very nice to easily to use. They're very grippy, as you can see, and they're easy to clean, which is a big thing for the circus workshop. We also have the one that we made today. So this is the one we made today, looking very snazzy. I have two control sticks, but if you wanted to make your own control sticks, you can make them in the exact same way we've made this, just don't bother putting the petals on the ends. And in fact, this is a version I made last week with that very idea. So instead of using the silicone tape, I've used rubber tape. I've used the inner tube of bike tire and then lined it with double-sided tape, wrapped it down the coil, and then made two more control sticks in the exact same way, and I even had a little bit of bike tire left over to make these lovely petals at the ends. They work great, they're very hard wearing and fun for all activities. I would love to see what you guys come up with. You know, the fact that you can make them out of recycled materials is wonderful. I think they're great. You can make it out of anything whatsoever you find. And I would be curious to see what kind of patterns you come up with, what kind of color schemes you come up with. So until next time, I will see you at the next craft video.